Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel and today's video is going to be a little unhinged. So today I thought I would give book recommendations for some wild animals. So a little background about me. I was a wildlife major in college. I love being outdoors. I love animals and bugs and trees and creepy crawlies, and I love the cute animals, and I love the animals and critters that people hate or creeped out by, want to stomp on, all that jazz. Now I know the animals I'm going to be talking about today are not hated, but there's some misconceptions about them. They're not the cutest all the time. And I know especially raccoons and skunks are adorable, but if you saw some of the faces they could make, you would change your mind. I thought I would give some recommendations to my favorite trashy boys in the natural world. So I'm going to be recommending some books for possums, raccoons, and skunks based on what I know about their personality, based on the interactions that I've personally had with them in my lifetime. And yeah, let's get started. I'm gonna start out with the ugliest of the trio. We're gonna start with the Virginia possum. So these guys, I love these guys. I joke about them being ugly. I do think they're actually very adorable, but I mean, look at them. I'll put pictures of them all around me because, I mean, look at the range of emotion. I think we can all kind of relate to a possum on some level. They're adorable. They have so much personality. They have so much range. As far as we know, they are North America's only marsupial, which is super cool. So not a rodent. Big misconception. Yeah, they got a creepy rat tail and they have a little rodent-y rat face. Not a rodent. They're also super cool because for the most part, they're immune to rabies and they're immune to the snake venom of our native snakes like cottonmouths and rattlesnakes. So that's pretty cool. They're super helpful to the ecosystem. They're kind of a little four-legged vulture to some sense because they'll eat dead animals. They'll eat, like, crunch on some bones. Like, this might be more than you want to know about possums. They are fairly solitary, so you don't see them in packs like you would with raccoons. Yeah, possums are pretty chill. Like, if you approach one, it might bare its teeth at you, it might hiss at you, and it might run away, but it's very rare that it would actually bite you. So for the most part, they're a pretty chill little critter. I figure since they're feisty, fairly solitary, for the most part, they're nocturnal and they like to scream. A book that I thought would fit the possum's personality really well is The Twisted Ones by T. Kingfisher. This takes place in North Carolina, kind of the backwoods of North Carolina. Well, not the backwoods, that's like the mountains. It's like the country, like North Carolina, out in the country, out in the boonies. So we follow our main character who is cleaning out her dead grandmother's house to sell the house, and grandma was a hoarder, and our main character starts finding things that lead her to the woods, to this weird kind of sculpture garden. There's weird things happening. This is a very folk horror-y book, and I just feel like if a possum could read, it would enjoy reading this book. It takes place mostly outdoors. Creepy things are happening. It's kind of creepy but not super scary, which fits the look of a possum. Kind of creepy, but not scary. And yeah, I feel like a possum would enjoy this book. Another book I think would appeal to possums is actually the Scott Pilgrim series. This series of graphic novels is this would appeal to the more lighter side of the possum's personality. It's just goofy fun that you don't take seriously and you just read to enjoy. And, you know, possums they're just existing. They're just living their life, enjoying nomming on some ticks, keeping us safe from Lyme disease. They're just goofy and silly. They have a lot of personality, and so does Scott Pilgrim. And finally, I think a book that fits Possum's personality super well is Nimona by N.D. Stevenson. This is a really cute medieval magical graphic novel. We're following this quirky shapeshifter just adventuring and getting into shenanigans, and I don't know, I feel like Possum, like the character that we're following, she's sweet, but she's feisty, and, you know, she can, you know, put up a fight, but, like, she's not looking for a fight. And that's a possum. They'll put up a fight. Nimona, I feel like, fits a possum's personality super well. Next up, we have our friend the raccoon, the little fluffy masked trash goblin. We love their little dexterous fingers that can manipulate anything to get to what they want. These little guys are much less solitary than possums, although it is not uncommon to see a solitary raccoon. It is also not uncommon to see a multitude of little raccoons kind of congregating at your trash can and getting into some nonsense. So because they kind of are a little squad sometimes, I would recommend It by Stephen King for the friend group dynamic, as well as Papergirls by Bryan K. Vaughan, again for the friendship dynamic. Both of these books deal with a group of friends getting into some supernatural mischief. They both have a serious side to them, but also some slightly lighter moments, more so for Papergirls than It. But I feel like raccoons would really resonate with these two books. Also, aside from their little friend group dynamic, I think raccoons would really enjoy the book Good Omens by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett, simply for the mischief. Raccoons are mischievous. Our main characters in here, particularly, what is our main demon's name? Crowley. His name is Crowley, particularly Crowley. I feel like raccoons would resonate with the miscommunication, with the mischief, with the nonsensicalness of Good Omens. So, to all my raccoons out there, read Good Omens. Okay, finally, we have our fluffy little stinker. Not talking about my dog. We have our fluffy little stinker, the skunk. These guys are super cute. Out of the three, these are the ones that people usually want as a pet. Don't get wild animals as a pet. Not saying that. But skunks are super adorable. They are obviously the most well known for their smell. They're also very charismatic. They are the most domestic feeling of these three. They are the most companionable. Their relatives are ferrets, which people do have as pets. Skunks are curious, they're stubborn. And skunks are very much like, they're kind of like a cat almost, where they're like, this could cause chaos. I'm going to do it. I thought I would recommend some middle grade books to our fluffy tailed friend, the skunk. First off, I would recommend Fablehaven by Brandon Mull. Yeah, by Brandon Mull. This is such a fun, outdoorsy, magical middle grade novel about these two kids who go to live with their grandpa that they've never really met. And they find that he is the caretaker for a magical realm called Fablehaven, where creatures live on his property and he takes care of them. And of course, you know, once you find that out as a kid, you're going to go like search out these creatures, even if your grandpa says they're dangerous. Like, how could they be that dangerous? So you're going to go search these things out. And can you just imagine, instead of a child, a skunk just being told don't go into the forest, and it just like going through the forest? Like, that's adorable. So yeah, Fablehaven makes me think of skunks. Also, another middle grade naturey book is Me and Marvin Gardens by A.S. King. This is a really sweet kind of climate action middle grade about this kid whose neighborhood is kind of being gentrified, and you know, a new development is coming up, and a lot of trash is going into the river that he's grown up beside. And from the trash and just nastiness that is getting dumped into the river emerges this critter. and his name is Marvin Gardens. And I think a stinky little critter made of trash is basically a skunk. So, me and Marvin Gardens. Finally, I would recommend To a Skunk, Howl's Moving Castle by Diana Jones. This book, if you haven't read it, you've probably seen the movie and vice versa. They're both beautiful for different reasons. I actually prefer the book. I just think that Howl's Moving Castle is, I mean, it's literally about different characters that are curious, that are stubborn, that are fully themselves but care for others, and that is a skunk. A skunk is gonna be a skunk, but it also, it's a pretty reliable little critter. It's just, I feel like Howl's Moving Castle is just perfect for all of the elements that make up a skunk, because there's stinky parts and there's scary parts and there's wholesome parts and heartwarming parts and parts where you want to shake a character and say, why did you do that? And that's a skunk. So that is my recommendations for our favorite little gnarly little street trash cats. Honestly, I'll probably do more of these for some of my favorite animals, maybe even for some of my favorite plants. Like if you like this plant, you'll like this book. I don't know. I just had fun thinking about what some of my favorite critters in the wild would enjoy reading. So I hope y'all had fun with this video. Like and subscribe if you want to see more from me. And I hope y'all have a great day and a great rest of your week. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!